I am now able to do illustration full-time. In July's story, we're meeting two new characters. I'm actually a bit stuck. So these are the colors that I've got in my palette. Hello and welcome to a new vlog. I hope you're doing really well. We've had a few new subscribers since my last video, so welcome. My name is Ode and I'm an illustrator in Edinburgh in Scotland. It is a new week, it is Monday, and I'm going to take you along with me this week. Today is a really big admin day for me and possibly tomorrow as well. Something quite exciting happened last week. Things happened in life, which means that I am now able to do illustration full time. I was doing it alongside another job before, but now I can do it full time and I can develop it more, and I'm very excited, very grateful for the opportunity to do that. What that means though is that I need to find a proper way to organize everything that I need to do, everything on tasks and goals and very long to-do lists and projects and all of that. So I need to just organize things because I have notes on my computer, I have notes on my chalkboard here, I have loads of papers here. It's a bit all over the place. So the next couple of days the goal is to try and put all of it into one system. I am going to try and use Artova, which is kind of a new business management system created specifically for creative people and artists and things, and it looks really nice. I actually tried to use it a couple of months ago, but at the time, because I wasn't doing illustration full-time, I was working on only one project, which was my mail club, and so for just that one project at the time it didn't make a lot of sense for me. But now that I'm got a lot more going on, I think it would be really useful. So I'm going to have a look at that today. We've got a free trial, so I'm going to do that, see how it goes. But yeah, it looks promising. I'm excited. I'm really excited. A little bit overwhelmed because there's a lot now, but I think I'm someone who likes things to be organized and I like systems, and I work really well when I have systems for things. So I think it's important that I do this now. And then I'm also still being very mindful though to make time in the week to make sure that I draw and actually, make art. So, which, it's my job. So yeah, so that's the plan for today. And yeah, let's get to work. Okay, I think I'm gonna call it for now. It's about 4 in the afternoon just now. I've been at this for 5.5 hours, and my brain is properly frying. So I think I'm gonna call it for today. I still have so much to do. It's a bit overwhelming, but it's also very exciting. And I think I'm enjoying this Artova website or app that I'm using. It is not difficult at all to get into, and I'm just figuring out how to use it for myself. But yeah, I think it's good. It's going to be a really good way to have everything in one place and not 5 million pieces of papers all over my studio, things in my phone, things on my computer, across 3 different apps and things like that. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to make my life easier. But yeah, just the setting up, and it just makes me realize that there's a lot of things that I still need to think about and plan and develop. Yeah, it's like you take one thing off of your to-do list, but then you add like 25. So, but it's all good. And yeah, but anyway, my brain is frying. I'm tired from it right now, so I'm going to stop for today. And I'm going to go for a walk just to clear my head a little bit. I think I'm still going to make that walk somewhat productive in that I need some stamps to send out my mail club. So I'm going to go to the post office. Hi, it's the next day. It's a very gloomy day today. And for work, it should be pretty much the same as yesterday. Another big admin day, getting a lot of things set up, do a lot of thinking, a lot of planning. However, I'm lacking energy a little bit this morning and motivation. And so I think what I'm going to do that might help is that I'm going to go ahead and print the shipping labels for my mail club for this month, because sign-ups closed yesterday, so now I'm basically all good to send, like all good to go and send things. So I'm gonna do that. I packaged everything last week already, but now I just need to print the shipping labels and add the stamps, and that's like I have a system for that already, so it's kind of an easy task, and I think it's just gonna get me in the groove of working. Also, I don't know if you can hear, but my cat is here. She's purring really loud. Luna. So yeah, she's going to be keeping us company for a little bit, at least until she's had enough and wants to go out. Hi. Hi, Bean. Do you want to say hello? Yeah. She's a good kitty. All right, I need to get the addresses formatted properly and then print them onto labels and then stick them onto the envelopes. I'm nearly done. All I need to do now is to seal the envelopes. And when I started this, I really wanted some craft envelopes because I thought they went well with the whole aesthetic, I guess, of my mail club. And also for it to be recyclable and all that. The thing is that those are C5 envelopes that fit like an A5 print or piece of paper. And I couldn't find C5 envelopes in crafts paper that are more like the peel and seal kind of thing, you know, when you like peel off a piece of paper and then it just glues. I kind of like the look of this one, and also it's a lot of waste to have all that seal paper, but it means that those are the ones that you lick. Obviously I'm not going to lick all those envelopes, so I was trying to figure out what to do, and the first month I did it using like a cheap watercolor brush where you put the water in the brush, and it actually works really well. So this is what I'm gonna do now. Everything is ready. The address labels are on. The return address labels are on. In a few of them I add a little like personal note because some of them are for people that I know in my personal life. And yeah, and then I don't know if I'm gonna take them to the post box today because it's noon, and I think the postie may have come and collected it already. That's the end of another successful month of my mail club, I think. I'm already full on into the next one and one after that. I'm working on both July and August at the moment. It's a lot of fun. What I also did this month is I put some back issues on my website available for purchase. So whatever I had left over of the first month I put on my website. I kept a few just in case some get lost, and I have to replace them, but as far as I know, everyone has received the first month. So whatever I have left is stuff that I can sell, and I think I'm going to do that every month now. Whatever I have left, I will put on the website so that if someone subscribes later down the line and they still want to catch up on the previous editions, they can do that. All right, I think I need to refill my water brush. Oh no, never mind. It's the next day. It's about 3 o'clock, I think, in the afternoon. And I just spent most of the day so far, a couple hours this morning and then a couple hours now, working on the sketch for the main illustration for the July edition of my mail club. I'm really pleased with it because I went in without necessarily a good idea of what I wanted to do. Sometimes I have a very clear idea of what I want the illustration to look like, and that's great. I think I work a bit faster. But in this case, I didn't have really a good idea. I just had an idea of the characters that I needed to feature in it, but that's about it. So it took me quite a while to figure out how to draw some new characters and also how to just the composition for the scene that I wanted to depict. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I'm going to take a break now from it. The other things that I had on my work plan for today was to start editing this video. So I'm going to do that. I might go for a walk just to clear my brain a little bit in between the two tasks. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this. I'm going to go back to it, I think, tomorrow and maybe have a look at the color palette that I would like to use and just get started on the coloring of it. But let me show you what I've done so far. In July's story, we're meeting two new characters of Rowanacre. One is a lady hedgehog, and then one is a male mole who is the postie. And then we have Harvey and then Melvin, our usual two characters. It's a lot more characters than usual. Usually I've only done it twice, but I've had these two guys and then a third, but like smaller character or like smaller to draw. Here are two larger characters with like full outfits and accessories and everything. So that was quite a bit of work, but I'm actually really pleased with how it came out. I don't have a really good sense yet of the water palette that I'm gonna use. I tried to stay consistent a little bit from one illustration to the next so that the mail club as a whole has kind of like a color, like a consistent color palette. So I'm gonna use the same colors that I've used before for the two mice and then Melvin's shirt and Harvey's dungarees, which are blue. And then for the others, I don't know, I'm gonna see. I usually try to limit myself to 2 or 3 main colors and then just sort of variations of those colors so that it's not all over the place. But I have quite a lot of characters here and a lot of different elements, so I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do, but I'll do that tomorrow. It's the next day and I am sat on the floor because I'm about to get started on putting together a color palette for the sketch that I drew yesterday. And the reason I'm on the floor is because I need a bit of space and also I'm trying to get some decent light, so I'm as close to my window as I can possibly be. And it's very gloomy today, so it's quite dark. Although I did have to take this morning, I had to drive my husband to the airport at 3:30 in the morning. That was really early. But on the way back, I was treated to the most beautiful sunrise. It was incredible. We don't really see the sunrise or the sunset very much at the moment because the days are very long up here in Scotland. I think the sun rises around 4 or 4:30, so well before I wake up, and then it sets, I don't know, after 11, so after I've gone to bed. So I haven't seen night in a while. But yeah, anyway, that's just a lot of rambling. So yeah, the color palette. So here's how I usually go about it. I don't know if anyone's interested, but I'm going to tell you. I like to use these Werner's postcards. It's called Werner's nomenclature. I don't know how to pronounce that word, of colors. And in the form of, so that's originally a book, but these come in the form of postcards, like kind of like the Pantone cards, you know. But what is, I guess, unique about these is that they're all earth tones, which is what I like. So also Pantones, there's like 5 million. And the thing is that because I work in Procreate, I have endless options when it comes to color. I can just do whatever. And obviously when you get started from zero, it's very overwhelming, especially if, like I said yesterday, I like to work with a limited color palette. So you basically have to choose like 2 or 3 colors out of infinity. So I like to get started with these because it's a bit less choices, but it's also colors that I like. I don't use exactly those colors, but it's just to get me started. So I have this. I have my iPad right here with the sketch that I drew yesterday, so don't forget what sort of colors I need for what. And I also have the previous illustrations for month 1 and month 2 of my mail club. Not because I want it to match perfectly, but because I do want consistency. So I'm not going to necessarily choose exactly the same shade of green or the same shade of blue or whatever, but I do want the whole, like month after month, I want the mail club to feel consistent and the vibe and the aesthetics to be the same. And so I'm just keeping those for reference. And yeah, because I'm not gonna pick like a really intense purple or very bright pink because it just wouldn't really go with it. Also, that's not really the colors that I like to work with usually, but you know, just for reference. So I'm just gonna put all of these cards on the floor. There's, I don't know how many there are in there. Let's see. Does it say 50? So I think that's a good place to start. It's easier to choose like 2 or 3 out of 50 than out of millions. I already know that I'm gonna have some light blue because I've got Harvey on this illustration, and on both the ones that I've done previously, he's wearing light blue dungarees, and I would like to keep it that way, so I'm gonna have like a light blue. And then I was trying to figure out, I think a big element that's gonna really have an impact in the illustration is the outfit of the postie here. And so I need to be mindful of what color I use for that. And so I was doing a bit of research about uniforms for that the posties in Scotland wear, or in the UK. And at the moment they wear red, but I don't think I want red here. I think it's just too much. I think it's also maybe a color that I would use more going into like autumn and winter. But I found online that historically at some point the uniforms have also been a navy blue. So I think I'm gonna go with that. Maybe something like this, or I guess something like this. This one is called lavender purple. So that's 2 colors. I will have some green, I know that, because there's trees and grass and things. And then Melvin's shirt is always white. The bow tie always adds a little pop of color for him, but I'll figure this out at the end of what color I should use. And then the other big element that I'm gonna have is the hedgehog. She's wearing a cardigan, and that's also gonna be visually like a big element of the photo. And so I need to figure this out, and this is where I don't really know what kind of color I want to use. So I need to have a think. So I'm gonna have the blue, I'm gonna have some green, it could be any green actually. Let's go with this one for now. And then I feel like this is a little pale. I would like something a bit different. What color would the cardigan be? I'm actually a bit stuck. I can't decide. I think what I'm going to do is that I'm pretty confident with using a darker blue for the postie. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to probably color everything else except for the cardigan, and then like add all my neutrals in my things. And then once I have this and I have a better sense of which color takes the most space on the page and the balance between the colors, then I'll see what I want to do for the cardigan, because right now I can put like colors together, but they're kind of all in equal amounts, which is not what it's going to be like on the illustration. So yeah, I think what I need to do right now is just get started with the blue, get started with the other colors, and then go from there. Once I have the other colors in place, see sort of what I might want for the hedgehog. It's always a tricky part for me, color palette, because I'm quite picky about my colors, but I can't ever say like, I can say like this doesn't feel right, but I can't always say why it doesn't feel right. And so sometimes I just have to try a few things until it feels right for no reason that I can explain clearly in words. It feels right or it feels off. So yeah, but I think we're gonna get started with the blues and the neutrals and then go from there. Okay, I think this is where I'm going to leave it today. I'm starting to feel quite tired and I have a bit of a migraine, I think just from lack of sleep. But that's okay. I kind of planned for it. I just planned a short work day today, and then I just have chores and things that I can do this afternoon. It's about 2:30, I think. And yeah, I did manage to do line work on my illustration, which is good because it means that now it's just ready for coloring, which I will do tomorrow, or get started on tomorrow anyway. I'm really happy with how this one is turning out. I can see how my skills both in drawing and storytelling are improving since starting the mail club. Not that there was anything wrong with the first one. I still like it a lot. I think it turned out really nicely. But I can see how now, I don't know, things are improving. I feel more confident. My illustrations feel maybe a bit more detailed in a way, and my storytelling is better, and it's just really nice to see progress over such a short period of time, really, because this is only my third one that I'm currently working on. I'm really enjoying this project, and I have so many ideas in my head for the Tales of Rowan Acre, and it's really nice to see new ideas pop up as I'm working on it. And I don't know, maybe one day it'll become a book, or maybe a series of books. That would be really nice. Right now, obviously I can't make a picture book every month because making a picture book takes a lot longer than that. That's why I'm writing a bit of a longer story every month, so about 2 pages, whereas I think the average for picture books is about, like, the words are about maybe like 200, 500 words, something like this. But I'm doing a longer written story, but just one big illustration, and then like smaller illustrations. Whereas in a book, obviously you have less words, but a lot more images, which, like, the images carry the story a lot more as well, so you don't need as many words. But obviously, like I said, I can't do that in just 1 month, but I don't know, maybe one day it would be a lot of fun, I think, to make a book, like a proper book, a proper picture book out of the Tales of Rowan Acre. I would really like that, but I don't know, who knows. That's probably years and years and years down the line, if it ever happens. Until then, I'm really having a lot of fun with the Mail Club, so yep, that's where I'm going to leave it for today. I will work on this tomorrow again. I am meeting a friend at noon tomorrow, so my idea was that I would go into town in the morning and then find somewhere to work. Ideally, I would like to work at the library, but it doesn't open until 10, which feels a bit late, I think. Or it's later than I would like it to be, and I'm also a bit surprised that it's not opened earlier, but it's just the way it is. I think I'm just going to have to find a regular cafe that opens a bit earlier. I need to have a look online. And yeah, I think that would be nice, just to get 2-3 hours of drawing before meeting my friend, and then that would be good progress, I think. So that's the plan for tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Hi, I just got home. I ended up working at the cafe at the bookshop this morning, which was quite nice, and it opened at 9, so that was good. So I did a decent amount of work, I would say, and I figured out the color palette that I want to use for my illustration, so that's really exciting. I will show you that in the next vlog. And then I met up with my friend, and we had lunch, and we hung out and chatted for a while, and that was really lovely. And then on the way back home, I stopped by the art supply store to get a few watercolors. So I think I may have mentioned in a previous video that I'd asked my husband to bring me back some tubes of watercolor from Japan, because it's a lot cheaper there than it is here. And those are the Winsor & Newton professional watercolor. And the thing is that there was 2 that they didn't have in Sekaido, the shop in Tokyo. One was burnt sienna, and then one is actually not a Winsor & Newton. It's the Daniel Smith buff titanium. I don't know if you can see, I don't know how the camera focus is. So I went and bought these, and then, so these, and then the one that he's bringing me back, I want them to put in a tiny palette that I ordered, and I'm waiting to receive it. It's one of the Go Draw palettes. If you watch Leslie Strauss on YouTube, you probably know what they are, because she's talked about them quite a bit. And they're really, really good, but the way they work, like, you need the tubes to put the paint in. So I'm really excited about that, because it's going to be really tiny, and I think I'll have it in my little pencil case that I have here, and I'll show you at some point when I've received everything. And it will be a really, really good, tiny, minimalist to-go kit. But then I do have some watercolor already at home, and I've got a few pans. This one is 12, and I keep them in the portable painter. I don't know, I guess the brand is the portable painter. And I wanted to swap a few of the colors, so I also got a few half pans from the art supply shop. And I'm just going to swap them out, and So what I wanted to do is swap out the blues. So the way I've done my color palette is that I have the primary colors. So I have 3 in the cool tone, and then 3 in a more like warm tone, and then I have some earth tones, and then I have a couple of green and the Payne's gray. And I wanted to swap a few. I wanted to swap the blue primarily because as the cool tone I had Prussian blue, which I actually don't really like very much. And then for the warm tone I had French ultramarine, which is a nice blue, but it's granulating and I don't like it. I know a lot of people like granulating watercolor. Because it gives a bit of like texture or something, I really don't like it. So I wanted to swap it. And so instead I got Winsor Blue Red shade as my warm one. And then Winsor Blue Winsor Blue Green shade as my cool one. Because from the website it says that it is very easy to blend and it is not granulating. And then I also got raw umber because in my earth tones right now I have burnt sienna and burnt umber, and I like those because I usually mix them with whatever other color I mix to sort of mute it a bit or tone it down a bit. The thing is that both burnt sienna and burnt umber are quite warm, and so I wanted something that one was warm and one was cool again. So I'm going to keep burnt sienna, but I'm going to replace burnt umber by raw umber because that's a cooler earth tone. And then I'm also going to remove, I have sap green in it, but it's just like, it's a really bright green and it's one that I really don't ever use. I mix my greens from the other color, but I also have this one, which is quite well used already, called Terre Verte yellow shade, and I really, really like this color, so I'm going to swap it and put it here. And then I also have Potter's Pink, but there's no space left for that, so I could do a video at some point if you wanted about sort of my supplies and the colors that I chose and why I chose them and my sort of small kit. Let me swap these and maybe give it a little clean, and then I can quickly talk you through the colors that I've got here if that's of an interest to you. So these are the colors that I've got in my palette now. For my primary colors, for the warm tones, I've got Winsor Blue Red shade, Winsor Red, New Gamboge. And then for the cool tones, I have Winsor Blue Green shade, Permanent Alizarin Crimson, and Bismuth Yellow. And then my earth tones, I've got Burnt Sienna and now Raw Umber. And then these are just colors that I really like. So this is Perylene Green, which I really love. This is Terre Verte, yellow shade. This is Sepia. This is Payne's Gray. And like I was saying, I also really like Potter's Pink, but it doesn't fit in this palette, which is not a big deal because I use this one at home primarily. So I'll just leave it like this and it's fine. And yeah, like I said, I'll probably do a video about my art supplies and the colors that I have in my palette and all of this. We've got a cat. And in the future, this is where I'm gonna leave it for this vlog. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, please be sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe to the channel if you aren't subscribed already. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.